Okay, everyone, pretty much so far actually I'm mostly done packing most of my stuff, so got put stuff away since I completely forgot something today. Pretty much who's actually gonna start streaming soon again. Just on the other platform, link in the description, and pretty much most of my decks actually have been changed. I mostly made very decks to try out, mostly evolving like even slow mode. Even an edge a little bit since I figured might as well at least just for 6. Overall, pretty much this whole video is mostly Legends so far. Let's see how well the Blue Eyes and Dark Magicians hold up in Legends during the time playing this. Will it be anything else different? We won't know. Let's get straight into the first deck profile. Oh, and also work on my idea is actually on hold for a moment. It is idea I got work on my deck idea, but still thinking about others to make it for a mini series. The only issues for work on my idea is that pretty much I'm not having anything to test it. That's just an idea series actually can pop off possibly. Now let's get straight into the real deck profile. So far, pretty much actually my Blue Eyes deck's mostly a standard one. There's not much differences compared to it. Mostly going to rank 8 Turbo. Essentially with just one chains being Chronicle Magician, which I didn't have at one point, because it allows me to utilize Blue Eyes. It discards special summon, you can target one Blue Eyes on monster zone and gains 200 attack. But also those are free 8/7s like special, so it was worth it, especially for potential endgame with True Light of Mind. Outside that, most of the deck's standard, I think. And I added Cerebolities just to make it so I have more multi-attacks evolving it for a quick play effect, as well as to actually make sure there's no more continuations that pop off effects, like adding a mind, sending particular idea, for example, mind. Overall, there's much differences, but I should have added more stuff towards it that I didn't feel worth it entirely just to invest in a deck, as you'll see why, for this Legend event when it was happening. The only thing that came out of it is I managed to get a royal alternative, which I'm happy about. So it's a score for me. Since I got more royals to go to Blue Ice, which is interesting. Now let's get straight into the match. So far for our match, we're playing against Evil Eye, a deck that mostly focuses on utilizing their cards to pretty much mostly power them up with cards, kind of shown by card effects, spell shot tokens. This is the general gist of them, since the game power as well as negates some stuff. Overall, they're not a powerful deck on their own, I feel like. And next on the leads, most of the cards mostly does quick effects for other links of mine with some generic stuff, and tries to target, which is limited pretty much for this whole event. Firewall being something I'm not surprised about. And then most of them just mostly revolves around battle and showing most of their stuff. It there and don't go into the links most of the time. Now let's get straight into them. Pretty much my hand here is I pretty much just mostly had a decent hand opening, which could work with potentially a lot of stuff. The only thing I didn't need was Chaos Form in advance, so I can discard it for using Dictator D if I went first. As well as Dust and Rivals. I could negate a lot more going to this first turn. The only thing I couldn't stop was pretty much the free special there. If I did. Overall, this I passed. Next on the top deck where Geki helps so much with the K effect, since I can just stop most stuff going forward. Death Trigger D, go into it. Go to Blue Eyes. Next on the normal events here, inside Deaths and Rivals, so I can stop negation effects. Next on the Deaths and Rivals. Makes so they have destroying cards now. Mind you, I should have gone into something else though, but that was actually the best move I can go into that turn. Want to show you the card there. I feel like Evil Eyes is just good for destroying that dailies, if nothing else. Going to Spirit and Pass since I can't destroy by Battle either way, so I had to quick play it. Trust on Zero Eyes. Since the card destroyed, don't. Since I can't destroy my card effects either way, it doesn't matter what the heck I do with it. The only way out here was if I had Nightmare Unicorn, which I sadly didn't have at the time of recording. And I don't remember if it's legal yet. It's legal for a festival, but it was. I didn't craft in time for the whole first tech playing. Since I can turn that in mind to grave and actually have a place to work with. Since I can get rid of this, get rid of that. Sadly, I didn't have enough cards to work with. So I decided to power up more. I decided this must be a bot if nothing else. They're going to destroy the subs to OTK. I figured, hey, most interesting way to get that done with. So I let it break into the fact I was like, I got nothing else to work with defense wise. So I just made him with eyes blue so I can stall. There's a defense, special summon blue ice, set defense, negate, and I stall a turn. There was also around that time I also had an out technically, point aside surrender's point. Since now I have permanent protection to work with in mind. Which I don't understand why, so I decided to keep the dub at that point. Now let's go on to the next deck profile, the Dark Magicians. Next up is my deck for here. Sadly, in pre-bench, I only just got Blacklisted Soldier as the event leads since I figured I need more outs essentially. And I ran 2 normal decks either way, so I figured it was justified. First off, I ran 2 Dark Magicians standard 3 because this whole event I don't know what to work with more. The only thing I would have crafted and probably added was one more Dark Magician roll and the Apprentice Illusion which I had in hand. Mahad is just whatever Abdul card that I only just put in to mostly have more consistency and have general outs if I need battle 5,000 attack monsters. One effect since I only have one and I don't want to bother crafting a lot more yours. And then I managed to get most of my crafting drills back with this whole structure deck. 3 Magician Souls, 3 Rods to search Magician Souls to filter my hand, or to spend Block Magician Special Summon out for a quick fusion with the new Tamias. Illusion and Chaos could be used at too, but I only use it for searching. Negation effect could have been also the optimal move as well if I wanted to. If going for dailies, since we do have the ritual daily stuff, so that's always a thing as well. Just to utilize illusion. It counts for a quick deck just to does that one searching in mind. Next up, we're gonna go since we don't run anyway. I have one Heartbeat Spellcaster, utilizing 2 Dark Magic attacks since this deck can search it out, and I feel like 2 is alright, especially since this event might have a lot of mysteries in mind. 2 OG time ice just so I can search it out with just so I can search it potentially, but also have a quick go into a quick fusion if I need to if I don't have Tamias in hand or the fusion / ritual. It's just salvations I could have run into. Sadly, the village was limited on this event, or for me, I forget which. Since I'm just going over this as the event's leaving. 2 Dark Magical Circles, since I figured I might as well put it at 3, since I have better search options and there's not a lot of stuff engine-wise I feel like I could incorporate it now with the Legion Chaos in mind for the moment. Soul Servant just to search and have draw power with Dark Magicians, with the secrets of Dark Magics mostly being our ways to multi-attack with Fusion or against Ritual, with Illusion Chaos if we feel like it. Magician Navigations, I'm only ranked, you should be running at 1, but I did 2 since I ranked 3 Dark Magicians. So we have that, 1 in perm since we're only allowed 1. 2 Destined Rivals, just since we can search it out off the last card, if we need to. It mostly comes in handy a clutch. Soul Judgment, mostly just throwing out / destroy method entirely if we need to. A short soul with just two, pretty much just two. Sun Dark Magician and destroy it. Or soul. Next on the just standard stuff, we're using Dark Cavalry and Dark Paladins, mostly so we have more search options to go into. But the deck with item since Dark Cavalry is a good way to get some power-ups as well as doing piercing besides maybe negation effects, which is nice, and my deck's gonna cut my headset, which is the chaos mostly, but also is going to master chaos faster if nothing else. Big guys mostly just take control of our opponent's monsters. I'll illusion just to do that, but I might just get rid of this one, or I'll on high magician if I did. For illusion just so I can actually work with it, but also banish stuff so it's actually not that bad. Since you always special in Dark Magician deck, illusion just to stop negation effects. I mean, activate spell trap for a hand without it. And just so we special summon out World Chalice just so we can immediately just have either the power up option or just to I don't know, just for Dragon Link easily material. If we don't have to optimize the hand, spellcaster just sense. So, and also destroy stuff easily with this since it's not that bad of an option as well. Triple Burst was just to stop traps and everything. Personally, outside that, it's just a vanilla blank card that I will just run Blackluster Link over it nowadays. Now let's get straight into our first match. The first match is fighting up just against Blue Eyes utilizing the mystical lighting. It's pretty good honestly, but personally it's just not worth it running it since it's not searchable technically. It's a good way to get Dark Magic. It's a good way to essentially special summon. Your opponent must attack non monster if able, but outside that, I feel like it's just a vanilla blank card. It's good for other decks to actually have some protection or utilizing stuff like Jet, as you can tell with it. And also utilizing cards like Fang Priest so they had more fusion methods in mind. Now let's get straight into the match. Also, I'm adjusting my headset since it's been a while since I had to do it for recording. So as my opponents when the tone cost here, and I mainly decide to go. They let me go first. Add notifications. I got secrets, which helps my whole plan out. So it's on Dark Mission. Go into Dragon Link. Set Imperm. Set Fusion. I figured if nothing else, I had a couple outs. I destroy my back row or my monsters. I decided to special summon Dark Blue Eyes. Then I was like, so look up Blue Eyes Mind. But the English can go, and I was like, I'll fusion here. Tyrant will just be a huge problem if I don't get rid of it now. So we go into Dark Magician Dragonite. It was treated as Dark Magician to go into it. And I still have my first card in my hand being Dark Magic Attack. I decided to activate it. Opponent decides to activate Tyrant, but it doesn't matter since it's unaffected if I card packs it away. Next up, pretty much, I also get Dark Magician back into play. A lot of her knock on my door. Sadly, pretty much, I can't OTK properly. Overall, short by 900. Sadly, I could have done anything else, but Mirror Force would have been a pain except for one monster, as we found out. And they also put another bait card. Decided I was also trying to get done my specials in Link/Fusion Mind. The fact that I just got all two of my dailies done in Slow Day, and decided to go in for new animation effect since I don't go into it much for a final attack. If I get creative, I was like, whatever, in my mind. Next up, let's go on our next match. Next up is against Triple D, which is pretty much just as normal stuff, Fusion Link, while utilizing a bunch of cards just to deal damage themselves. Also Royals, some stuff which is interesting to always look at. essentially. Now let's get straight into match. The only reason I'm not going over to triple D or double D is just because I feel like enough people seen it enough that it's just not worth mentioning how to go through a deck. Also, I think I made one misplay this whole match. I remember I made misplay here. Sudden Dark Magicians. Get to my add circle here. I mean rod. Add circle afterwards. If I call right. Since circle can potentially give me a strong soul. So I go into Dragon Magician for protection. Also, I should have gotten into a bunch of stuff. Decide to give out the life points for that. Decide to activate that. I think this is where I accidentally messed up. I think by trying to get at least the fusions. I do remember now the misplay I did. As you'll find out why. Set the pendulum scales. I should have waited until the link happened, I feel like, first turn. Opponent side destroy most of my circles and stuff. Back alright. Got it, circle. Personally, what I should have done was select a bait or anything else, but I kind of figured something else happening here. Soul Servant allows me to get Mahad. Mahad gets specialed. Next up, I set at Distant Rivals. And my turn. The opponent had a bluff card. They decided special here. Personally, what I've realized I should... The misplay I was mentioning before was that I could have gone in for Mahad, get rid of it, destroy the card, and I merely could have a potential circle still in play. It allows me to search the top 3. I still had to deal with one more in mind, but I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter at this point. Mohan gets destroyed, especially some Dark Magician. Like this when it matters. The thing is though, I should have gone in for a destroy, but I figured it wasn't worth it entirely yet. My only hope is we'll see if I get Rigeki or Short Soul Mind. The Short Soul wouldn't have mattered, but I decided to... I'm pretty sure Purge actually, he got that materials out for that, I think. Yeah, going over this, I could have gone Short Soul at least. The only difference is my opponent would have a chance here to do that, but they could easily make an armor level 8 pretty soon. With potential, so I figured it wasn't worth it, apparently. All I know is that one misplay last turn cost me everything I could have done special Mahad, and I could still have Circle already and Eternal Soul as my comeback plan. And mainly could have potentially won this turn if I did. And I could have banished stuff, make it work at least. So overall, pretty much that was my 2 misplays I hit myself for that match. Now let's get move on to the next one. Next deck profile is pretty much what I call equip multi because of Hybris and Manta, which are able to multi-tag. There are other cards that multi-tag as well, that's not worth mentioning. Overall, so it's mostly cards that just allow them to multi-tag as well as gain power, essentially. There are other ways to gain multi-tag as well. A card is equal to how many times they attack as well, better options. As well that they could have added and taken out some stuff. Which is not a lot, but it's whatever. Like, they could get rid of Ego Boost with that in mind. Now I'm just going to straight into deck profile since most of this deck is just equip cards as we know. Access Sisters, I don't know, explain to you. Sorry about that. Access Sister, that was some other deck that was in the Soul Fest I forgot about. Utopia Turbo, which essentially allows them to special summon monsters out. Adds extra weapons out, such as summon themselves out. However, main ways to actually add cards to hand, aka Utopia. Next, selling with some cards like double out, with the only thing missing, surprisingly enough, was just one card, which is the higher futuristic one of this, if it was possible to run this event, I think. Also, I will admit, the only thing I hate about this event is that they forgot to, like, not for this event, but the next one I'll explain. Let's go on to the match. Next only my hand was actually pretty decent. It was good going first or second hand in mind. On to here happened. Just constantly adding the cards like I was saying. Pixel weapons actually adds them while this still allows them to add a number level 4. Utopia Double goes into another one. Allows them to add double nothing and go into Utopia. Next up is Excellent. Next I'm getting Utopia Prime. This side I got Utopia there. This whole event, I was essentially afraid at this point. Utopia Leo happened. Decided to go into Utopia Creature here. Pretty much my hand was already dead, essentially, I figured. But at least one essentially allows me to get out. Circle, go into Circle. Get rid of Utopia Creature, since it's kind of the more out though, but Utopia Construction actually as well. So I'd go to Dark Magican Circle. Add Raw to hand. And just what I need. Just rivals. Go into External Soul, set another one. Get this out. Go into the Mice. Go into Dragon Dark Vision. I said go to Leo since it's the more annoying one. Set Destined Rivals and pass. And second Control Soul decided to that cards actually target back row, specific ones. But I didn't realize it didn't matter. It had a way to banish it, honestly. That brings our Dark Magician, decides to get rid of it. Send Dark Magician back to my hand. But I realized that I had something in hand. Opponent decides to do that, I decided to do Destined Rivals. Then I get everything, so I have entire outs. Opponent just run it there since I can technically go for OTK next turn. OTK for lethal, honestly, not for sure kill, I forgot about that. Now I'm moving on to the next match. Next match is a slight mirror. The only difference is they're not running more newer stuff, since this is more of a budget one that goes into the other ones, being Magician Chaos, which is Dark Magician if I'm correct, which is technically not as bad though, but I feel like it's less versatile. And next up with the regular Magician. Personally, there's better stuff to run. Super Poly makes sense. Everything else is alright except for Illusion of Magic, I feel like, since it's just vanilla unless your monster's getting targeted, then pretty much it's not worth it, I feel like. Next up, making a dragon's alright, essentially, so they can get some generic stuff that they can't normally run, like Alternate Falcon and Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And that's mostly about it. Outside of that, most of the decks mostly standard, considered of a slight mirror match, in the sense that's more budget, if anything else. But with the structure, I kind of figured this person would, since it's been about a couple days since the event, and I just realized I got paused. Damn it. Oh well, doesn't really matter. Does display still explain the deck profiles are associated with them. Now let's get straight in the match. Oh well, most of them have been played, but which order it is, you gotta figure out yourself, lol. I misplay, I thought trust B. Apparently I didn't. So amount of times. First hand was alright, the only difference is I needed to bend on that circle with anything else. A slight mirror edge happened, I was like, are you kidding me? Besides the set 2 pass, I was like, what the heck am I dealing with here? Got everything else I needed, decided to go for circle's point, but I should have said in this. Just so that I can deck the endo, but it was a really good choice. So I just set 2 Eternal Souls, passed. Activate Dust and Rambles. Special in Dark Magician, get rid of the circle. So I don't have to deal with a mirror match then. Side this circle here, just so I can Special in Dark Magician again. Mention a Dark Magic attack while I'm at it. Dark Magic attack can be negated. Super Poly happened, and I was like, my opponent didn't activate the effects polling it, and I was like, as soon as I looked at this profile later, I was like, why the heck did you not do it then? Oh wait, unaffected, that's right, it can't be targeted, which is useful information. Essentially, I managed to get all the outs, and I'm glad I did. Otherwise, I went into something different, once I surrendered because of that. With nothing to back them up, makes you question what the heck their hand was. Now let's go on to the Pendulum match. Pendulum match is just essentially running the standard stuff, but still running most of the links. The only thing I found strange and not running beyond the Pendulum instead focusing more on the original stuff. The only thing I'm surprised about is I completely forgot this thing can be Pendulum Summon, but it's also a good searcher to add ritual cards to your hand. I forgot about that, which is useful. Now let's get straight into match. So there's nothing else standard from here. The only difference is less hand traps, so you run more of the more of the different stuff. Anything else? Overall, my hand looks pretty bad. I decided to go research for the rod. I could have gone with navigation in mind instead, but I was also like, it's at least decent. Nothing else. Decided Dark Magician here. So I trade Soul Servant, add Demise. Add Demise for next turn, next only I draw a card. I was like, I should have got my circle permanently. Close right happened, I was like, okay, anything else to work with? I said I draw a card. I decided to get rid of it since that thing is pretty much the most annoying one. So I circle back my hand with the rod to draw, to actually get more draw power. I decided to take the Pendulum Link versus the special moon. Instead go to Rebellion into another link. Go into that for some reason. Mind you, they kind of screwed it up since they can't even do that entirely. Since they could have just gone for link 3 essentially, instead of passing here. Since nothing else procced essentially. So it's not these procs when being sent at least. Find this illusion happened, I was doing his most clutch draw actually. Once I quit there, since they had nothing else to lose, since I can banish or manage next turn, I decided to save themselves the time and quit. There is nothing, this is like a mismatch where everything can potentially be called a lot of stuff. The only difference is, it's more of a rank 8 turbo once I ask someone else's opinion about this deck. And it's the most ridiculous. There's a bunch of stuff you can probably cut. Like, you call out the red eye stuff. Since they're just going to be bricks, essentially you're saving yourself about 6 cards there. So, and from there, yeah, 6 cards like I was thinking. And I could cut down some stuff like some divines in mind, some divine creations potentially. The the foghorn engines, well, which, well, it's pretty good though, but it's running more fumes. I feel like with the many cards, you better off running like 49 cards. Since you're trying to go for rank turbo, you can cut some stuff out like Arc Brave Dragon, Fogron. So at the very least, it's at so 47 where it's more practical. You can Lord Divine as well as get rid of Ruins. Essentially, I feel like since it's a brick card, if you can't search it, as well as Destruction in mind, since you're only running this just so we have it out for the form of this. Overall, I feel like you might as well take out Solid Dragon as well. You kinda won this to this, both of them, so the deck will be more consistent. Without the red eyes, you're totally looking at 6 cards automatically, 7 solid, 8, 9. Overall, it'll be 46 card non-brick deck. As well, give everyone Dragon Divine. You're okay with at least return. Overall, I feel like you can still run that, but overall, take out some cards like Dragon Mirror in mind, since you're not going to 1,000 anyway. Ultimate is okay. So overall, you'll be out. Let's see, I was at 46 for 45 cards at least. This makes sense. Future Fusion, that'd be total 44 cards. This deck will be much more better if you're just going for a rank 8 turbo deck. You might as well just play, oh I know, Galaxy at that point with everything in mind. Now let's get straight into the deck. Overall, pretty much I just feel like going me a lecture there because that deck had so much potential for a rank 8 turbo with non-Galaxy that it was worth the explanation. So I go in circle first, search to draw Magician. I don't remember what else, I suddenly did that to actually it. Magician's a sad Eternal Soul, but I decided to go Magician Salvation, set Salvation. Salvation go Dumbass, go into Dragon Dark Magician. And set Destiny Rivals and pass. Since I'm not going to links much anymore, at this stage of my period when I was playing, that I just didn't feel it was worth it. Decided to set it. My point decided not to. I was like, might as well get rid of it. Special and target, banish it since it can be anything lethal based on cards. I was like, deck is deck. Then it looked like the deck shuffle, deck limit. I was like, are you kidding me? Point size special layer. Special decided to keep it since I might as well. Since it's going to gain levels, I feel like it was worth it. Heck, suddenly it's like, let's go to fusion. This is why the quick effect is good. Goes into lethal, pendulum, set, mod, draw it. Just the flex tag is still immediately out them immediately with how much that deck can potentially brick with those cards I mentioned that you can possibly take out. Next up, our last spell match, Blue Eyes, which essentially randomizes a lot more Blue Eyes cards. Not running a lot of Light Stonization, which is surprising, but they can take out Hermos in mind. I feel like with his deck in mind, because the only thing that goes into will be this. At best, you might as well just run this at 2 and up this one by 1. Maybe one more of this, probably, for all I know. Lord Ingham Machine Go. I feel like I should be running it, though, but I'm running more branded stuff most of the time, anyway. And run more extra deck cards that are Blue Eyes, personally. Aside that, there isn't much exploration in this deck, though, but with one more White Stones, you essentially might as well run this card too at this point in mind, since you can also get a lot come off value-wise off White Stones or White Stone Mages if you're running stages at 3. You might as well running one more of this. This would be cut. 1, 2. 3 this because you're not running that many level 8s, I feel like. Like, it is a decent amount though, but you shouldn't running that many, I feel like. I got used to this, and cards of versions, you might as well run at least 5 so that card's not brick, so otherwise take that card out. Personally, Blue Eyes, once you get used to all of it, and its main cards are a brick canned, that's the alternative, so. Otherwise, we're just trying to match, because I'm just gonna lecture this whole deck off. Man, I can't believe I'm lecturing last decks of all things. But there's nothing else I can do. Like, I can cut out explanations a bunch, but as soon as I saw the Wise Donations, I'm like, I'm dealing with Blue Eyes already. For me, my top deck, it has to be something good here, so I can out Jet immediately. Like, I have it out Soul, but I need it, or drop. Go into this, or that. Excited, special Tiger Souls. Some that gives red jet permanently, so I had to deal with it in mind. Get Rod. Set Dark Magican Texas, I can still search it. Point had that out, it's like, it's whatever. Soul lets me draw a card. Decided to turn Soul. Decided set 2. I pass. But I'm thinking I had no outs entirely. Decided to do Eternal Soul, banish the Blue Eyes, and they may realize that since they have nothing else to work with this whole turn, so I decided to give up this turn, since I can still search for other stuff. Next up, that's the end of my Legend volumes of playing in Legacy, aka Legends I call it. Overall, it's a pretty solid event. It feels nice playing without most hand traps like Ash and stuff. With the only effect of mailing, it makes sense since it's probably one of those cards. Overall, I hope pretty much they do an event like this again. It's kind of fun and refreshing a little bit. Just hit the ban list a little bit more for some stuff. But besides that, it was pretty fun. That's my thoughts about the whole event so far. Overall, I hope, thank you. I appreciate you watching this whole vid. I hope pretty much you leave a comment, a like, or subscribe. It is free. There's no harm in it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.